Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. So in this video, I'm going to talk about why the people that you know will never ask you advice, and you may have done some great or crazy or amazing things that you never thought would be accomplishable in your life, right? So whether it's, for example, getting a $14,000 rental real estate check from one tenant, or $100,000 discount on a property, or paying off a mortgage under 3 years. This was just the latest accomplishment, as you can see here. You'd be thinking like, hey man, like I've been doing these crazy things, and I want to share with you, right? I want to share with you what I've been doing, and you can do it too, right? Like, there's no reason why you can't do it. And for some reason, it seems like the people that you know, like, have absolutely no interest. Well, here's the thing. Sometimes a big mistake that people make was thinking maybe I should just keep telling them more how successful I am. Let me tell you something, folks. People are not as stupid as you think they are, right? They know you are successful. We live in a crazy world where people, they act like they're kind of like two-faced, right? They act like you don't exist, but they're always looking at your Instagram or your, Facebook or your YouTube, or they'll look at you what you're doing online, but then like in real life they act like you don't exist, right? And the reason why, they're not ever asking you or just kind of going up to you for any sort of advice, even if you like accomplish some crazy things, right? Is because they know you are successful, and your success brings them a lot of shame, which is kind of like the opposite you were probably expecting, right? Because remember when you were a kid and every adult figure in your life was like, you got to be successful. That's why you got to go to college or get a good stable job. It's like, okay, great. Like, well, let me show you what I've done, and then you kind of get the opposite intended effect. Let me tell you something, folks. Jealousy is real, and the more they are in proximity to you, or the more they are closer to you, the more the jealousy is magnified, because like, hey, like we're from the same place. If you do these things and I can't accomplish it, let's say on my own, what does that say about me? Right? Like, that's kind of like the thought process, even though in order to get to where you are, you probably had the help of a lot of people, right? But jealousy is a very human emotion. And again, I remember reading the 48 Laws of Power like ten years ago. You ever read that book by Robert Greene? And I was like, what is going on? And so if you ever take a look at it, this is a book, quote, self-help, sold over 1.3 million copies in 1998. It talks about the dual-faced nature of society, and how sometimes if you accomplish things, you kind of have to tone it down, right? Like the rule number one is never outshine the master. But like there's other things about that too. So it's like 48 laws of power. For law 46 states that people should not appear too perfect because their success can cause envy and feelings of inferiority in others, right? So this is real. Like, don't ever think like, it's so weird because when I remember when I was a kid, I had every single person criticizing me because I was like, I don't want to do well in school. It's like, you don't want to do well in school, or you don't want to crit, because every single person I knew was like so obsessed with like going to college or getting a career, and I'm just like, nah, I don't really care. I don't really care. But at the same time, here's what I care about. I want a good life for me and the other people that I know. And for whatever reason, it seems like people always have to act like they're in a better position than you. And so when you do things that they know they can never do, I mean, who's going to get a 15 grand or 14 grand rental real estate check from one tenant, right? Like, look, I know it's just prepay, but it's a 14 grand rental real estate check. And then, all these things kind of add up, like the mortgage, pay off the mortgage in the threes. Do you think the average person does that when, you know, there's a reason why banks have the largest buildings on the world, because they could make sure that that 30-year loan doesn't get paid off in 30 years, right? So if you pay it off in 3, and there's someone else that pays it off in 1, listen, I'm gonna ask, like, how'd you do that, right? I'll be like, whoa. But 3 years good. If I can't do what that person who did it in 1 year says, I'll be cool with them. I'm not gonna be jealous. I'm just like, dude, you're awesome, right? You are awesome. But be aware that the people that you know are never going to ask you that, or they're never going to ask you for how you did it. They're going to ask you for advice. right? It's and it's not because they don't know. They already know you're successful. The young kids know you're successful. The older people know you're successful. They all know, but if they're in your close proximity, they never want to ask you because your success brings great shame. Isn't that unfortunate? It's kind of sad, but it's kind of world we live in. This is why I can't really bring this out to every single person I know. Like, hey, guess what? I paid out my mortgage to every single person. I told a few people, but I'm not going to tell. Rub it in their face because I feel like, why aren't you asking me for advice? It's probably because you don't know. So let me rub it. No, they already know because people gossip, right? You tell one person, man, that thing that you thought that people are going to keep quiet about, that wasn't a big deal. Everybody knows. Everybody knows because people can't keep their mouth shut, but they're gonna act like they're gonna act like it's not a big deal, but then they can't keep their mouth shut, right? All right. Well, this is Korean Atlanta Mentorship. So just another video about success when you get there, what to expect, and sometimes when you're too successful, you hurt other people's egos, right? All right. Well, that's it for today. Have a great day, and we'll speak next time.